It has been all A's so far in this series versus the Royals. The offense has clicked in Kansas City, and the youth of the Athletics are putting together quality at-bats and getting the clutch hits when they need them. At the beginning of the week, the Royals were eyeing a wild card spot, but the A's have spoiled their party, taking 3 straight on their home turf. Tonight, the A's will go for the 4-game sweep. It's the A's and the Royals next. Final game of the series here at Kauffman Stadium, and the Athletics are going for the 4-game sweep of the defending World Series champs. It's the A's and it's the Royals coming up on CSN California. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Ryan Healy was called up on the 15th of July, start the second half, and since then, Ray, he has been in the starting lineup every game except one. And in this series, we've seen how good he can be. Power, good defense, and he hits the ball the other way.
You know, it's great news for the A's to have a young player to be able to put at third base. Great news for him as well to get a chance to play. He has done everything in this series. Of course, he's hit the ball as well as anybody. His defense has been spectacular about this play. He just grabs it and throws it, makes a perfect one-hop over to first base. But his opposite field power, but this home run hit to very deep in left center. But I think the biggest thing for him is to use the whole field, and he's done it in this series last night. A couple of hits to right field. So it's really a complete package. He's showing a lot of confidence, whether it's playing defense or swinging the bat. And I think that is great for him because he's getting an opportunity and he's taking advantage of it.
Royals will send the veteran right-hander Edison Volquez to the mound. His 31st start of the year, Ray, he was really good last year, helped them win the World Series, but not as good this year.
He beat the A's in the early part of the season way back in April, but that was April. This is not. He's given up a lot of runs lately. They got him to be a big game pitcher. Last year he was. This year he is not. And you really cannot say you're tired when you're trying to win and go to postseason once again. But he's a good pitcher. He keeps the ball down. If he keeps the ball down, like really Daniel Mignon, if they do that, it should be an interesting ball game. But he's given up too many runs lately.
All right, so the Kansas City Royals are 5 games back in the wild card with just 17 to play. They really cannot afford too many more losses. Now up next, we will check in with the A's pregame live studios, and then we'll come back to Kauffman Stadium for Game 4 of the series. A's going for the sweep.
by Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Jack's Brewhouse Bacon Burger today at Jack in the Box. Limited time only at participating restaurants. By Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by America's Tire. Your low-price journey starts here.
Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. Crowd coming in on a nice night for baseball as we are just minutes away from first pitch. Game 4 of the series, the A's and the Royals. True story brought to you by McDonald's. At the All-Star game this year, it was all Kansas City Royals. 4 of them made the team, and Eric Hosmer and Salvador Perez did damage early. They each hit home runs in the first inning off Giant starter Johnny Cueto, and of course, Cueto was their former teammate. Cueto was with the Royals last year when they won it all. The American League won the game 4-2, and Hosmer was named the MVP. The American League now has home field advantage in the World Series. We'll have lineups and first pitch when we come back. It's the A's and the Royals from Kauffman Stadium, and it's coming up. Free Boardwalk is open this weekend. It's a beautiful night. 84 degrees, really not much humidity, Ray.
There is not, and I don't know, you know, they thought it was going to be, but I think it's a very pleasant night. Almost probably zero humidity.
And there also was talk earlier in the week, they thought Thursday was going to be a rain day. Right. They were very concerned about it. It turns out it's been a gorgeous day here in Kansas City. Lots of sunshine, warm, and very little humidity. So Bob Melvin and the Athletics going for the sweep of the Kansas City Royals. How about that? They have played terrific baseball in this series. And Bob's looking at his lineup. He says, hey, check it out. Here it is. Joey Wendell, he's doing a really nice job. Then Danny Valencia, Stephen Vogt, Chris Davis. Yonder Alonso's going to DH tonight. Healy, Simeon, Matt Olson gets his first start. He's at first base, and Jake Smolinski's in center field.
And it was Voquez pitching against the A's in Oakland back on the 15th. The game at the Royals beat the Athletics 4-2, but the A's did win 2 out of 3. The only game won was by Voquez, who possesses a pretty good fastball, 2 and 4 seam. He's also got a good curveball and a changeup, but 10 wins, 10 losses. Not exactly what the Royals had hoped in this season, which they tried to back up a world championship.
Defensively for Kansas City, Gordon, Dyson, and Billy Burns is in the outfield. It's Colon, Escobar, Merrifield, and Hosmer around the infield. Salvador Perez is again behind the plate. So Billy Burns gets a start tonight out in right field. Our old friend, Billy Burns. So we're set for baseball as Joey Wendell steps in.
Ned Yost getting Billy Burns in against his former team that he was traded from. And of course, Manaea pitched last night against the team that traded him to the Athletics.
And the first pitch of the ball game is in for a strike. Billy Burns again out in right field.
Played left and center, and now seeing him in right field.
He's going to bat ninth in the Royals lineup.
Okay, he's got to put the back pocket in his right side. Can't have that flapping around like that.
Umpires tonight: Mike Estabrook calling balls and strikes, Greg Gibson at first, crew chief Dana DeMuth at second, Adam Hamari down at third. Quick 0-2 to Joey Wendell, hitting .297 with 7 RBIs. And he got him swinging on a pitch in the dirt. So 3 pitches and Wendell strikes out, 1 out.
I went fastball and then back-to-back breaking pitches, not in the strike zone. And this one clearly out of the strike zone, blocked nicely by Perez, cleared himself and threw that Wendell at first base. And again, just a reminder that Joey Wendell is in this picture of Voquez for the first time, and he just saw the curveball that throws a quarter, 25%. Of course, the fastball primary pitch, 2 and 4 seam fastball, low 90s, flat bill cap. And of course, he and Ventura liked it when Johnny Cueto was here, but that's something that they learned a lot from. Cueto, excellent, signed a free agent contract with the Giants.
Valencia on the first pitch grounds it right to the shortstop Escobar, so 2 outs here in the first.
Maybe after seeing a couple of curveballs, he said jump on the first pitch fastball. It's hard to sweep a 3-game series, much less a 4-game, but the A's have an opportunity, and the Royals would like to see at least 1 victory. They've lost 4 in a row.
So here's Stephen Vogt. Stephen Vogt catching tonight, hitting .259 with 11 home runs, 43 RBIs, 4 hits in the series, 4 for 12, couple of doubles, couple of RBIs. He has scored 4 runs. Tough to find an A's hitter who has not had a good series. The A's have pounded the baseball here in Kansas City. The A's have scored 29 runs on 36 hits. They've had 13 extra base hits. They've received 19 walks, all in the first 3 games of this series. So they outscored the Royals rate 29-7.
That is amazing, considering what they didn't do against the Mariners at home over the weekend.
1-2 now to Stephen Vogt. A's are 63-82, so this is game number 146. These are 30-40 on the road. They've played very good against these Royals. They're 5-1 against Kansas City. Sean Manaea with his first road win last night.
It's good that he kept his pitch count down so he could go 5, because he was on a limited pitch count. Did great for 5.
Stephen Vogt just able to hold up. How close was it?
Adam Hamari thought it was not a strike or a swing and brought the bat back quickly.
And now a full count to Vogt.
Stephen Vogt, first home run of the season, 2-2 breaking ball, Friday night going. Stephen Vogt would have a good series against the Royals that weekend, including that first home run of his 2016 season on a curveball from Edison Voquez on 2-2 count.
3-2 pitch is grounded slowly towards second. Merrifield charges on the run side. Retired. Edison Marquez has a nice first inning. Bottom of the first coming up. No score. And let's look at the lineup tonight for the home team, Kansas City Royals. Rod Dyson, the speedy one in center. Whit Merrifield at second. Eric Hosmer, a couple of hits last night. First 2 hits in the series for Hosmer. Then Morales, Perez, Gordon, Escobar, Colon, and Billy Burns.
Daniel Mignon got a new haircut, still has the handlebar mustache, but he's still sitting on 1 win. It was against the Giants and facing the Royals for the first time. You know, they say he looks like Catfish Hunter with the mustache down, Raleigh Fingers with the handlebar. Well, they started in Kansas City, so maybe this is an omen for him against the Royals at a different stadium where those guys pitched, at least for the hometown Kansas City A's.
First pitch to Dyson is a strike. Mignon pitched a little bit better in that start against the Mariners, which was last Friday in Oakland. Threw a lot of pitches, though, 100 pitches in 5 innings. So we're getting a good look at these young pitchers, Ray. I think with Daniel Mignon, he started out so well, but really since then it has been a struggle. And who knows, going to get 2-3 starts yet. I think for his confidence going into the offseason into next year, really show the A's that, you know, he's going to be in the discussion for a rotation spot. He needs to have some good starts here to finish the season. Defensively behind Mignon, this is what the A's defense looks like. Davis, Smolinski, and Valencia in the outfield. Healy, Simeon, Wendell, Olson on the infield. Stephen Vogt is the catcher.
You know, Cap, all 3 of the pitches thrown to Dyson, the leadoff hitter. Belt high and up. And it's tough if you throw 95 to 100, that's one thing, but Daniel Mignon really tops out about 93, 94 with the good 4-seam fastball.
Here's Whit Merrifield. A little bit high. Stephen Vogt will chat with his young right-hander.
Friday against the Seattle Mariners, he did struggle early, but then settled down, retired the last 7 that he faced with a good fastball inside to Seth Smith, good curveball. He had the pitchers working. It was a first inning 2-out RBI double off the wall by Nelson Cruz, who had a very good series, but that high fastball struck out Nelson Cruz, so he finished very strongly and something very, very good to build on.
He also gave up that home run to Nori Aoki, which was a little bit of a surprise. Dyson is dangerous on the bases. 27 steals this year for Rod Dyson.
Matt Olson at first base. That's good to see the big man at first, and Mignon, of course, a rookie to a rookie, and look look around the lineup for the Athletics, there are a few guys who have that status.
Dyson not running, and the ball is skied to left. Chris Davis waiting. He's got it. Merrifield pops out, and then I'll bring up Eric Hosmer. So this is that breakdown for Migden. The first 4, he was 1-3 with a 2.81 ERA, and he was really pretty sharp. But since then, it has not been good.
Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, he's got the pitches, but I still say pitching down in the zone is a little bit better to have success, especially if you're not overpowering. You want the sinking fastball, and you want to be kind of a ground ball pitcher. And he has only had one game, and that was at San Francisco. He had 11 ground ball outs, and that was the game he won. Everything else kind of bid. Well, he has pitched deep in ball games.
Yeah, that was by far his best start.
Yeah.
He pitched 7 2/3 innings that night in San Francisco. He was very good. First pitch to Hosmer is popped up. Healy coming over, and it's going to be 3 rows back.
You know, if the Royals hitters let him, I think Dice is going to try to steal. I don't think that with him getting on base that they're going to be waiting around too long, but I mean, you got to take some pitches, because if you have speed at first and you try to manufacture some runs, that's the best way to do it. Merrifield, of course, popped out, and now Hosmer swinging at the first pitch.
Not running, and the pitch is inside. Rajai Davis leads the American League in steals with 36. And Altuve, Dyson with 27. Eduardo Nunez 27, but he is no longer with the Twins. He's now with the Giants. Mike Trout has 25. So it looks like Rajai Davis is going to lead the American League in steals.
Yes.
Outside, 2-1.
I think the A's have done in the first 3 games of this series, they've got decent pitching, and of course they've scored runs, and you have that combination. It really takes a lot of pressure off the pitcher when he has some run support.
85% success rate on stolen bases in his career. He has shown no signs of going yet. And that one's outside, and now it's 3-1. Middle infielders squeeze towards second base, outfield straight away. Smolinski, he's out there. He's playing a very deep center field, and he generally does play pretty deep.
Well, if you play deep, you want to make sure you break in on pretty much everything that's hit. Anything over your head, you're playing deep, is going to be either out or against the fence anyway. A lot of video seen by the Royals with Daniel Migden, and first time facing him, and we have seen where their teams and players have struggled first time through the batting order. But again, for Daniel, just trying to get the ball down through a good changeup, 2-1 that floated off the plate. Came back with a good fastball, fouled by Hosmer.
Dyson should be running here. Dyson has 27 steals this year. He's been thrown out 7 times.
Maybe Hosmer can hit a ball to Olsen at first and turn a 3-6 double play like he did when he made his debut with Matsui hitting the ball to him.
Runner goes, and it's fouled, rolling back to the screen as Hosmer just barely got a piece of it.
Well, he was running, and they pitch out of the strike zone. Stephen Vogt hit the ball fouled by Hosmer. That's probably a result of having not seen him. Got to figure out what he's going to be throwing in certain counts.
So another 3-2. Dyson will take off again. No, he's not. And it's bounced towards second. Wendell, Simeon, and Olsen grabs it, and that's a 4-6-3 double play, and he was not running on that pitch. So Bigden says thank you very much, and that's how the bottom of the first ends.
Two, the A's turned a double play because Dyson was not running in a very quick 4-6-3. He had to get rid of it quickly. Wendell did to Marcus Simeon, and back to first base because getting down quickly was Dyson. And remember, with the new rule at second, he could not deviate from the slide into the bag. And Simeon coming across quickly, and they turned two, just like the A's did last night with Sean Manaea on the mound. Although the A's scored 2 in the first inning last night. Tonight, they did not get a base run.
Davis, Alonso, and Healy against Edison Volquez. Nice play by Christian Colon on a short hop. Throws across in time. Very hard hit ball by Davis. And a nice play by Christian Colon.
I think this is one. Just be happy that the ball hit his glove. I mean, that's hit so hard. Just move, put your glove down, and that was a good play. Made it look easy and simple, but ball hit that hard. Really picks up speed off the ground. Colon handled it nicely.
So with 1 out, Yonder Alonso steps up. Alonso DHing today with Matt Olson getting his first big league start. Alonso, a hot hitter. He's had a good series. 5 for 10 with 2 doubles and 5 RBIs. And he rips that one foul. He had 3 hits last night. Big hits in this series. Last night, the big hit early. Overhand curve is up and away. 1-1 the count. Overall, 254 the average for Alonso.
Doesn't matter tonight. Alonso, an outstanding defensive first baseman, but I think the A's wanted to see what Olsen could do at first, with him at first and Alonso in the lineup as the DH.
This year, Yonder Alonso has stayed healthy. This is his 140th game, so he's played a lot.
Call the strike must have gotten the corner as it actually ended up off the plate.
Last year, Alonso spent a couple, was on the disabled list twice, and when it was all said and done, he only played in 103 games for the Padres. A different story this year.
Good night for Alonso last night. Started in the first inning, got jammed base hit to the left field, driving in a couple of runs. It's the beginning for the A's last night, up the middle with a base hit. He's in opposite field. Again, going to the opposite field with a base hit on the pitch that was elevated. So stay hot yonder.
Foul. Back off his foot.
And you're swinging the bat well, you're feeling good, and you recognize pitches. Ryan Healy swinging the bat is also very well, but it seems like Alonso, unlike Joey Wendell, who swung at breaking pitches in the dirt, Alonso has taken them. Protection on the right shin, got him on the back knee or back left foot.
Grounded to first. Hosmer goes down to a knee to make the catch. 2 outs here in the second inning. Here's our greater coverage of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Oakland has never swept a 4-game series at Kansas City. The last 3-game sweep here in Kansas City was 2010. Now let's go back a little bit to franchise history. Last 4-game sweep versus Royals franchise was 1959 when the Kansas City A's swept the original Washington Senators. Wow. Last 4-game sweep on the road for the A's was in Cleveland, 2012. So like you said, any sweep is hard.
Yeah.
Especially a 4-gamer.
I think the one that stands out, I remember one, the A's swept the Yankees a 4-game series a few years back. That was hard to believe, but they played well. And I think the Yankees left the Coliseum saying, whoops, it's a pretty good ball club, and they were.
1-1 the count to Ryan Healy. Healy at .302, 9 homers, 26 RBIs. Thanks to his very fine series here in Kansas City, he has gone 6 for 12. Homer, double, he's knocked in 4.
And I don't know if you got a chance to see what a 96-mile-an-hour fastball on your side looks like, but there's a tremendously dark bruise.
Yeah, I passed on that.
On
Didn't
the side.
need to see that.
I just wanted to compare it to one of the riders who took one.
He's got another hit as he lines one into the left field corner. So Healy is going to be at second with his 14th double of the year, and he is hot.
And to his dad, who Ryan said last night he was probably happy because he hit in the right field. This is what he's done so well with a hanging breaking ball. Recognize the breaking pitch, 2 strikes, puts the foot down and hammers it down the left field line. And seeing Bob Melvin, Mark Kotsay, manager, bench coach, looking and seeing the result of that nice swing. Had to continue to be pleased. And Bob Melvin said, he said, I can't say enough great things about Ryan Healy and what he has been able to do since he joined the ball club halfway through the season.
Now he's sitting on a 6-game hitting streak. He's got 11 hits in his last 21 at bats. So runner in scoring position for Marcus Semien. Semien takes a little bit low.
That's a 2-out RBI hits last night for the Athletics. They'd like to continue tonight against a pretty good pitcher. And think about Boquez with his veteran catcher. They will not necessarily pitch the same with the runner in scoring position. And Marcus, I'm sure, well aware of that.
That one catches the outside corner. Marcus Semien had a big hit last night.
An opposite field double over the head. Right fielder, and that was pretty impressive, especially to be able to go as well as he did. And going from first base was Ryan Healy.
A little bit low, 2-1. Overall, Semien in this series is 3 for 13. He's got 6 RBIs in the series. He's with runners in scoring position in this series, 14 for 33. And that one is belted left field. Gordon going back, and it is off the wall. Healy's going to come in to score. Semien into second with a sliding double, and the A's lead 1-0.
Another hanging breaking ball and another 2-out RBI hit. Now Marcus Semien, as we talked last night about bringing the hands in and recognizing this breaking ball and crushing it. Too much top spin, otherwise it's a 2-run home run into the Royals bullpen, but a hanger left up and smoked to left field. And if Alex Gordon can't get it, you know it's hit hard. That's how close it came to being a 2-run home run. Just too much top spin on it, but a big hit with a couple of outs and the hanging breaking ball.
So here's Matt Olson. Olson did get in the game on Monday night. In fact, he walked and scored a run in the 9th inning. So this is not his first big league at bat, but it's the first time he's been in the starting lineup. AAA numbers: 17 homers, 60 RBIs. Throw in 34 doubles. Last year, he spent the entire season in Double-A.
I remember Keith Littman, the director of player development for the Athletics, talking about Olson, how patient he is at the plate. He's seen 6 pitches in his big league debut. Not one has been a strike. He's taken all 6.
Well, his numbers in the minor leagues, really throughout his minor league career, Ray, I mean, there is a pattern. He's got a good eye. He's going to walk a lot. He's going to strike out a lot, and he's going to hit home runs. And his batting average has never been real high. Now, that, I mean, that could change at the big league level some.
How about Jack Cust? Yeah. Jack Cust did exactly perfect description.
And now it's 2-2. An off-speed pitch floats in first strike.
Yeah, the letter mentions the name Chris Carter, as we have seen, but there's a breaking ball right into the wheelhouse. Didn't pull the trigger. That's amazing. 10 pitches. He's not swung yet.
And he did there, and it was an off-speed pitch. So Cueto kind of softballed him there, and Matt Olson strikes out. But the A's get a run. Back-to-back 2-out doubles by Healy and Semien. Doubles. Healy and then Semien. 1-0 Athletics.
And it was nice of the veteran former catcher of the Athletics, Jason Kendall, to come in and say hello.
Hey, he looks good, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He's
staying in good shape.
Yeah.
One of our favorites. One of your favorites, I know that.
Oh, he's played with his dad, Freddie, in
right.
Cleveland, and of course Jason. Gentleman was talking about Salvi Perez and said he wants to catch 162, and I said, how about Jason Kendall? He said, yeah, same thing. Stephen Vogt, they all want to catch 162. Meanwhile, good double play turned in the first inning, and hanging breaking ball to Morales hit crisply to window for the first out. Jason on the field during pregame and sits up in the booth with Nate Moore, the general manager, as he's assistant to the general manager. And the thing about Jason Kendall, he will not hold anything back. He wants to say something, he does not care. He's going to speak his mind.
Honest assessment.
That's right. And really, I'd say that's what people in the front office want to hear. And you don't want to be a yes man, and Jason Kendall definitely is not that.
Well, I think it's good to have somebody like that.
That's right.
In a position of decision making.
And you know, Jason did well financially. He had a great career, and you know, I think that's the type of player you want, because he's not going to be a yes man to save his job. He's going to say exactly what he feels.
Oh, that's a good point. You're right.
Yeah.
He's not worrying about, oh my gosh, if I say the wrong thing, I'm going to get fired, and I'm not going to get a paycheck.
Exactly. He's just happy to finish his career in Kansas City and makes his home here now.
Salvador Perez skies one right field toward the line. Valencia, will he have room? Not quite, as he leaped up against that sidewall and hit the top of the sidewall. He almost had it. So the count 1-2.
How about this one? John Lackey said the wrong thing to Jason Kendall, and Jason charged him, and catcher tried to get him, and no way. And he had him down. He had both of them down. And that's when Lackey took umbrage to him turning his low elbow into him, and he said, okay. But Jason said, as he's standing over in the Nate Moore suite, general manager, but Jason, when he came over to Oakland, he says, you know what, I'm going to get 3 days off. It's when I'm suspended for fighting.
Perez grounds out.
But I tell you what,
I love that highlight, and I nobody does color for that highlight better than you do, because I like how you said, notice how Jason took them both down.
He did, though. He did.
Come on. There was a little help.
I know. But I tell you, one of the most memorable times when he was at third base standing still, and Francisco Rodriguez missed a throw back because he thought it should have been a strike, and Jason scored the winning run in the 9th inning from third base standing still.
Heads up. Oh yeah, no question. Look at Kendall takes one down, and he just, see, he's taking both guys down clearly. That is a strong man.
That's right. Well, he did it, you know. But see, at the elbow, he wore that elbow guard. He'd take one for the team, yes, but he had the elbow guard. There it is. Turn into it. And Lackey, that was premeditated, because Lackey knew he was going to do it. And that's why Lackey got all over it. And had some good moments with the A's. Better in 2006 when we were in Seattle and they clinched the division. His first time he and Mark Kotsay were going to postseason in Seattle.
1-2 the count to Alex Gordon. There were some intangibles there with Jason Kendall as well. He had good leadership qualities. Guys follow Jason Kendall. So Migden has a good second inning, couple of ground balls and a strikeout.
Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to AdVet Premium. #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Smolinski, Wendell, and Valencia here in the third inning. A's with a 1-0 lead. A's will be on to Texas after the ball game to get ready for first place Texas Rangers. Couple of night games and a day game. Second baseman Merrifield had a long run, makes the catch. Smolinski is retired. So 1 out here in the third.
Billy Burns saying to Merrifield about nice catch, but really the ball up that high and with his speed.
Yeah, his
ball. You got to take over. Merrifield was there, but the infielder does go out only until he hears the outfielder. Of course, relatively new position. As we mentioned, center field mostly for Billy Burns, then the left field.
First pitch to Joey Wendell, bounce right up the middle into center field for a base hit. Joey Wendell has had a nice series, and he gets his 5th hit in the series.
Struck out on a breaking ball. They come back with a fastball first pitch, trying to sneak one in to get ahead. He said, nope. Jump all over it, and that's a good job of hitting. To take the fastball and not wait around.
So here comes Danny Valencia with Wendell at first and 1 out. Bob Melvin was talking about Joey Wendell today. He said, I like him.
Yeah.
He said, you know what? He swings the bat. He gives you good at bat. He said he's active around the bag at second. Said he's been very impressed with Joey Wendell. First pitch to Valencia is low. Valencia grounded out to the shortstop in the first inning. He is 3 for 13 in the series. Spent a little time here in Kansas City with the Royals a couple of years back. Off-speed pitch, a strike. It's like a changeup. Maybe not where he wanted it, but he got the call.
But the teams that Danny Valencia played for, and he has a lot of people to visit with whenever he goes to various cities. And this pitch was off speed and didn't pull the trigger. Until you get 2 strikes, kind of look for the pitch you want.
Valencia's been with some good teams too, if you think about it. Of course, started with the Twins, but Red Sox, good team. Blue Jays, good team. Orioles, good team. Royals, good team. As we were finishing up last inning, I said Edison Volquez. I think I called him Johnny Cueto. He reminds me of Johnny Cueto a little bit.
They were together, and
doesn't quite have the Cueto hair, but there are similarities.
The one thing Cueto, and of course his Louis Tiant hesitation and turn his back and different types of deliveries. Well, he taught that to several, including Volquez, when he was with the Royals last year.
He bounced around. Started with the Texas Rangers. Edison Volquez. Three and 1 to Danny Valencia, and he swings and misses.
You're looking up. Was he in the Hamilton trade?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. It's a high fastball, but it's 3 and 1, so expanding the strike zone with Valencia. Good catch up to the fastball.
He was originally a Texas Ranger, and he was acquired by the Cincinnati Reds in exchange for Josh Hamilton. That was in 2007. 3-2 pitch. Good swing by Valencia.
Actually, Hamilton just came back to baseball in Cincinnati. Had a great year.
That's right. He had a good year in Cincinnati, and then they traded him.
Traded him, and really had some great years with the Rangers.
Volquez's best year was 2008. He was 17-6 with the Reds. His last 2 years, he's been good. With the Pirates in 2014, and then last year 13-9 with the Royals, and for the first time in his career, he pitched 200 innings in a season. Got himself a World Series ring. Line down the right field line, Burns over, and it's foul. So the count remains 3-2. How about this? Lowest average run support. St. Volquez is 7th in the American League in lowest run support. Even though his ERA is pretty high, he does have a 10-10 record. But Ventura 1st, Duffy 4th, Volquez 7th.
You know, I don't even look at the names anymore. I just look at Josh Hood. Help your local pitcher.
You got to check the title.
I know. That's
he
all.
Gets you. There's a story within the story with the Josh Hood title, and the runs and the pitch just missed, and it's a walk.
And that's the reason I was looking at it. And then, oh, there are the names too.
He's a crafty one, Josh Hood, our graphics operator, and he likes to tell multiple stories with his graphics.
Well, the best might have been the other night. At least I know, but one does a lot. But Jolly G. Willikers.
Yeah, you like that one.
That was a good.
Yeah, he'll throw a
Golly G.
Maybe a musical tint in there. So you got to keep an eye on those graphics.
Golly G. Willikers.
2 on 1 out for Stephen Vogt. That's right, that was Monday night when Dylan G was on the mound.
We have said it often, if you're a pitcher and you're on that list of lack of run support, you get in these situations just like it did last inning with 2 outs, hangs a breaking ball. Every pitch is so critical. You got to be thinking shutout, and that's hard to do in baseball.
Line drive, fair down the right field line. Wendell will score. Valencia digging for third. Wash is waving him home. And here comes Valencia, and he's going to score. And Stephen Vogt with a big hit. The A's lead it 3-0, a 2-run double.
A lot of times a pitcher will remember what a hitter has done against him. We showed the curveball that was hit by Stephen Vogt. This is a 1-0 curveball, and Stephen Vogt hammered it off of Volquez down the corner. And Billy Burns playing the camera around the wall. That's very difficult. But here comes the hanger, and there goes the double down the right field line. Stephen Vogt jumping on it and getting into second base, but down in the corner. Watch when the ball hits and starts to roll around. You really have to play it. And Billy did a good job, probably played the carom, but while he was waiting for the ball to get to him, it allowed Valencia to score from first base.
Chris Davis bounces one in the hole. Escobar has it. He's going to throw back behind Vogt, and Stephen Vogt's going to get tagged out, and he's not going to be happy with himself.
Yeah.
Escobar has great range, and I guess if you're Stephen Vogt, you have to either just take off for third or go back to second, and he did neither.
And if he had gone to third, he'd been out there, and he should have just stayed on the bag, because the only play was going to be to get him a second, and they came off the bag. Just actually, he was waiting, thinking the throw was going to go to first. But I tell you, that's a great play by Escobar. You can understand why he gets a Gold Glove, because he just turned around and fired a bullet to second, and had Stephen Vogt by plenty. Really, you almost have to look at that as a line drive, go back to the bag, because really the only play was going to be to him.
So 2 outs. Here's Alonso. Alonso hit a ground ball to first, second inning. Change up 81 miles an hour, but it stays outside. 2-0. One more note on Edison Volquez. This is the second year of a 2-year contract he signed with the Royals. but there's a mutual option for next year. So he would have to say, yeah, I want to come back. The Royals would have to say, yeah, we want you back. And if they both did that, then the option would kick in and he'd be with the Royals next year. Don't know whether that'll happen or not. The original deal was a 2-year, $20 million contract. So we'll see if the Royals, we'll see if they both want to continue. He's 33 years old. And a 4-pitch walk to Yonder Alonso. So long inning for Edison Volquez. Now he's going to face one of these hottest hitters in Ryan Healy.
Dave Allen's been making a lot of trips to the mound. Makes another one now with Volquez. I think the good option, the one that says player or management or club, because if the club says no and the player says yes, it's a pretty good option to have, because if you have a good year, you can say, well, the owners can say yes, and you could say no and become a free agent. But you have a bad year. But if it's a mutual, then they both have to agree. Right now, pitching is always premium. It's just a matter of they would want to pick it up. Who knows what the Royals will do if they don't make the postseason this year? In the 2 years in a row.
Right now, we mentioned in the open of our show, 5 games back of the second wild card team, 17 games to play. And a bunch of teams in between them and that second wild card. Right on the outside corner, strike to Healy. There's the wild card numbers, and you see the Yankees. And after the Yankees, it's the Astros at 3.5 back, and then the Royals at 5. So we said a bunch of teams in between, and that's what makes it difficult for the Royals. Quick 0-2 to Healy, who doubled and scored in the second. Kind of lays that bat on his shoulder until the pitch is coming, and then he sort of rises up a little bit.
It is amazing that he has his bat that way, and he can recognize, of course, hits fastballs. He can hit mistakes for home runs like he did last night. Going to double down the left field line as he did tonight. Of course, opposite field last night. Just like taking a deep breath. No stress, no nothing, just holding the bat on your shoulder. Really, that's the most relaxing way to hit.
Yep. So watch the bat just sit there. Then right when the pitch is coming, then he starts to go into motion a little bit. Don't really know what the problem is here with Volquez and Salvador Perez. Pretty sure they've been working together for a couple years now.
Volquez just told him what he wanted, and he went back.
21 balls, 32 strikes for a total of 53. So a fair amount of pitches in the first 3 innings for Volquez. Close pitch and a good take by Healy.
You know, with his size, you would think that's where he's vulnerable. Pitch down and away, and if it's a strike on the corner, pitch that maybe he can't recognize or get to.
And that one is driven left field and deep, and that baby is gone.
Wow.
Have a series. Ryan Healy, that's a 3-run shot, and the A's lead 6-0.
Well, he likes mistakes. You can see that. Fastball down, Made a mistake was Volquez, and right in the middle of the plate, and watch this swing by Ryan Healy. Dad, forget about pulling a ball, because that kind of a swing, and admire it, because this is going very deep to left field. Way up above a fountain, way above that.
So I think Healy has impressed the Kansas City Royals.
His first major league home run was a 3-run home run off R.A. Dickey. That was at the Coliseum on a Saturday afternoon, and hit the knuckleball down the left field line. Tonight, the fastball he didn't miss.
So in this series, Healy is 8 for 14 with 2 doubles, 2 home runs, and 7 RBIs. Strike, low strike, 1 and 2 to Marcus Semien. He does not agree with Mike Estabrook.
Semien, the 2-out run scoring double last inning. Healy, so 4 runs all of a sudden of the 6 are with 2 outs. This inning again doing the same thing.
Semien swings and misses. Salvador Perez hangs on. Big inning for the Athletics. They score 5 times the final 3, coming on a very long home run from Ryan Healy. Watch where it lands. Seriously, watch where it lands. That's a long one, folks. 6-0 A's. Five runs in the 3rd inning for the A's, and they lead it 6-0. 10th home run of the season in the top of the 3rd. And it was a long one. Went over the lower seats, which is what, 3 or 4 rows, over the waterfall and into that area of seats above the waterfall. And that's a long way. It says 432 here in the ballpark, but I think it was longer than that.
When you go above the fountains,
well, yeah, I mean, think about that. Come on. It was right in that area. So
right in there.
And that the home run fence says 387, and it was, say, she's got the baseball and she's 3-4 rows back. I'm saying 580. You know what? If they're going to underestimate here, I'm going to overestimate. 590. What's the longest one? Mickey Mantle?
John said probably more.
432, probably a little bit more.
Well, especially as a visiting player, you're never going to give a visitor the longest home run.
And I don't blame him.
That was long. The other one Ryan hit here was blowing to the right above the fountain, or right below the fountains. So he's not getting cheated, and Daniel Mingden is appreciating the run support. Now just try to
see where she's sitting. That's where the ball was caught. Seats, waterfall, seats, home run fence. Swing and a miss. Escobar chases high, and that's second strikeout. Now Ryan Healy was kind of in the mix last night. He was hit by a pitch, and he got it good right there. Ventura. And then as the inning moved on, Healy, I don't blame him. He got drilled in the ribs by a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and he had a little confrontation with some of the Royals players. He did a pretty good job of explaining it to us in our post-game interview. He said it's a little misunderstanding. Did not seem to be anything more than that. We certainly hope not. 1-1 to Christian Colon. Colon playing third base tonight. That's a good pitch by Migden right in the corner.
That's
1 and 2.
and down in the strike zone too. That is about as good a pitch as you can throw, and it's a matter with the double windup, the pump, and then getting on top and getting the ball down in the strike zone, and did it perfectly on that one.
And he went around, tried to hold up, couldn't do it, and that's another strikeout for Migden. So here's our Geico quote of the game, and Ryan Healy talked about getting hit last night by Ventura.
There's a lot of miscommunication going on, I think. You know, quite frankly, I was just upset I got hit in the ribs, 96 mile an hour. Just nothing directed at Ventura. You know, obviously a great pitcher. Pitcher must have gotten away from him a little bit, but you know, I'm a rookie out here. I'm a no-name, just trying to make a name for myself, playing against a lot of superstars. So, you know, obviously I mean no disrespect to any of those players, and I told Hosmer and Perez that behind the plate. So I just want to make sure they knew there's no disrespect behind it, but I was just frustrated with, you know, the pain that I had of wearing a 96 mile an hour fastball in the ribs.
You know what? That's a very strong explanation.
Yeah.
Billy Burns fouls it at the plate. 1-1 the count. Well, he's a nice kid, and we wish him the best, right? Stephen Vogt says, "Really, Billy, really." He's not happy. Wendell charges, knows he's going to have to hurry. He does, and they get the speedy Burns. And that's a very good inning and a good start so far for Daniel Migden.
My Chevy this season when the A's play host to the Astros on Tuesday, September the 20th. All fans park for free. Limited Plaza Reserve tickets are available for just $5. Purchase online at athletics.com/Tuesday and use promo code Chevy, CHEVY, while supplies last. That's next Tuesday. A's to Arlington tomorrow night for the weekend, and then the Astros in for 3 starting Monday. And that free parking Tuesday, next Tuesday.
Here's Matt Olson, second at bat tonight. He struck out in the second inning. 6'5", 228 pounds. Played some right field in the minor leagues this year, but his natural position is first base.
Ask him about number 13. You know what he said? Steve Vucinich gave it to me in spring training, and that's what I took.
Really?
Yep. A lot of guys would never accept 13. So, you know, you go to spring training and you go there in a major league camp, and that man gives you a number, you take it.
Got a little game face today.
Yeah.
Wonder why we're up 6-0. That's what he's worried about. He says, I have been with the A's for a long, long time, and I've never seen a 4-game sweep in Kansas City. Let's go, boys. Look at that game face. That is beautiful.
Well, you think about it, he came in 68, and next year would be his 50th. But that is a game face. He's already worried about the getaway after the game, getting the equipment on the truck to the plane into Arlington, Texas.
We've all seen Voos on the road. He's a busy man.
Yeah. But between he and Mickey on the getaway day, don't even say hello. Just let them do their job.
So a leadoff walk for Matt Olson. And that's walk number 3 issued by Edison Volquez. He threw 27 pitches in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, we've talked about the month of September, the roster increases and how teams can use a lot of different players. But for the first 5 months, the A's did not draw a lot of walks. All of a sudden, now they are with a lot of young players, the patience of them. 3 tonight. Did a good job in this series drawing the walks.
Yeah, what is it? 21 now in this series. The A's have drawn 21 walks. Smolinski popped out to second. His first at bat. Looking for his first hit in this series. He's 0 for 5. It's his second start. Eibner's got some starts in center field in this series.
As Jake, if he saw the shot of his dad and mom last night, he said somebody showed him, I guess, the replay of the game.
I didn't get in trouble, did I, for
no,
I was intimidated by his dad?
There they are again.
Tapped up the first base line, but foul.
They'll be heading back to Rockford because this is the final stop for them from this summer.
The scarf guy wants to talk to him. They don't want to talk to the scarf guy. Their son is batting.
Yeah, I really need that scarf in Kansas City. But it's an authentic Fan Friday. That's a good one to have. And he probably knows that's Jake Smolinski just looking at his dad.
Taps that one. Back to Volquez, who throws to second to get the out there. So Smolinski will be aboard on the fielder's choice. Olson's out.
Well, I would think Bob Melvin's got to be very happy when a young player, Matt Olson, has drawn 2 walks in 3 at-bats. And evaluation time, and you talk about September and spring training, but this is a special time for young players. And Matt Olson getting some major league time, starting at first base. And so just a simple walk shows that you're not just up there swinging at anything and everything.
And I think too, Ray, I mean, listen, the numbers don't lie. You're at the point in the season where they are what they are, and there has to be some evaluation on this, because the A's are last in the league in runs scored. They're second to the last in walks. They're last in on-base percentage and last in slugging. Again, there's more to it than just those numbers, but those are the basic ones. And line drive, base hit, Joey Wendell. Smolinski will stop at second base, and Joey Wendell is 2 for 3. He's got one of those real level swings, Ray, where the bat stays in the strike zone for a long time.
Yeah, he crouches and kind of drops it down, and you're right, it is a level swing. Watch, the bat goes down, and then any pitch down, he's going to rake it. And he might not hit a lot of home runs, but I still go back to what Ty Van Berkeley said in Cleveland. The A's traded for him, said that young men can hit, and he has proven that since he's joined the ball club.
He's going to spray it around a little bit. Well, he hit 12 home runs in AAA in 125 games.
Well, he wants to learn too. I mean, he's like a sponge, and all these kids are. It's kind of fun to watch. Of course, working with Ron Washington in the infield, Mike Andretti, the outfield coach, and just want to learn and grasp as much as they can at this special time of the season for them.
Well, it's kind of funny, Ray. When Ron Washington got here last year, of course, his prize pupil was Marcus Semien, and they worked together every single day. I mean, every day. Yeah. Well, now Ron Washington has 4 or 5 guys that he's working with.
That's right.
So Semien is just one of the group now.
But I think all those other ones started to see the success Marcus was having by working every day. And there were some who would tell him, you don't need to do that every day. And Marcus would tell them, said, it's only 10 minutes. How tough is it to work for 10 minutes?
Colon flips across, throws way wide. Valencia is safe, and the bases are loaded with 1 out. So Colon made a nice stop, but his throw was way wide.
I think he's thinking second base. In the last instant, decided to throw to first because he had no chance, because Wendell was hustling to second. But Wendell off the bag, really getting to second base, and I just think that just looking at him, see if we can tell when he picks up the ball. Maybe it was just long all the way to first base, but it was such a bad throw. Hosmer made a good play coming off the bag.
So it is an error, and that is 5 errors in this series by the Royals. So they have not played clean baseball at all.
And Ned Yost, their manager, confirmed that.
Yeah, I'm surprised too.
Yeah.
So Stephen Vogt hits, RBIs out there. Smolinski at third, Wendell at second, Valencia at first. And I know it's only 4 games, and we haven't seen him since April, so it's really hard to I guess, totally judge a team. But the thing that I remember about the Royals the last 2 years, Ray, is, I mean, they had a cockiness about them, and I say that as a compliment. And there was a swagger about them. And you just don't see that now. And granted, we're seeing them when they're not playing well.
It's got to be frustrating. You run the table, go to the World Series in 14, come back and win it in 15, and you expect to continue to play well and have the same thing happen, but it's very hard to do. And that is to do and duplicate everything that you did successfully in previous years. It really starts on the mound with pitching. And what Ventura did last night, gave up 5 in the first 3 innings. Volquez struggling tonight, 5 last inning, and bases loaded now with nobody, or just 1 out.
The bullpen is, well, they're starting to move around a little bit, although nobody is warming up. 3-0 pitch is in for a strike. So Stephen Vogt will take one. He will not take another unless it's way out of the strike zone, but he's thinking about driving in some runs. He's got 45 RBIs now with the 2-run double. Leafs ball on the inside corner, fouled straight back.
Yeah, Cap, with what happened last night, as there is some activity, Oakland starting to get loose, but the A's blew them out on Monday night. Royals had a chance to win Tuesday night. They opted not to do certain things. 8-0 last night, 6-0 right now. And you think back to the one game on Tuesday when the decision was made not to use Herrera for 4 outs, which I agree with you 100%. The 8th inning was the biggest out.
Haven't needed him since.
Yep. And they may not use him this entire series.
Right. And he walked in a run as Vogt takes outside. Smolinski comes in to score. 7-0. The A's lead. Boo Birds are out. So Vogt gets his 46th RBI.
You know, the old saying, and we've talked about it, whenever you start using players and, well, what's going to happen if you go extra innings? You basically win tonight and worry about tomorrow. And in this series, it's really kind of probably come back to bite the Royals because they didn't play for the one win. And who knows, maybe that would have changed the series. But they did not, and the A's have come back and outscored them tremendously, really, in the 4-game series. And that man's having fun. Bob Melvin likes to see the young players, likes to see the at-bats, enthusiasm.
I always thought if the question is asked, well, what if I need him? I'm talking about a relief.
Yep.
What if I need him tomorrow? And I think the best response is, what if you don't?
That's right. That's probably better than the what if you do.
I mean,
yeah. Today you know what's in front of you.
Yep.
Tomorrow you never know.
Davis hooks one down the left field line. Fair ball. Rattles around in the corner. 1 run scores. 2 runs score. And the A's now lead it 9-0. Still batting with 1 out here in the 4th inning. So Chris Davis knocks in a pair. He's now got 94 RBIs.
Off speed, and Chris Davis went out and got it and hooked it and kept it fair. And you just cannot mess around with the strength of Chris Davis. Hit off the wall. 2 runs was going to score anyway, and that's where it landed in fair territory. Bounced off the high wall back to Alex Gordon, and as soon as the ball hit and got back in, Ned Yost was on the way to the mound.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and repair expert. Moylan coming in.
Say it's a bird? No. Is it a plane? No. It's superhero fireworks presented by AAA. These post-game fireworks will be set to some of the best music from superhero movies. Dress as your favorite characters and enjoy the show from the outfield grass as long as space is available. Enjoy an A's game and then superhero fireworks right after. Seize your tickets at athletics.com/fireworks. A lot of fireworks from Volquez tonight. 81 pitches, and saw last night with Ventura, the number of pitches he threw in such a short amount of time.
So still only one out as Yonder Alonso steps up. Vogt's at third. Davis is at second. And pitched on Tuesday night. Slider first strike to Yonder Alonso, who has grounded out and he has walked and scored. Yankees have now outscored the Royals in this series 38-7. Infield kind of halfway, not all the way in. Best run differential in a 4-game series in Oakland history. Plus 27 versus Seattle way back in 1981. These are plus 31. So 2-2 the count. Alonso didn't like the call.
He's thinking outside. The ball came back inside and had a little movement that Mike Estabrook liked. That's a slinging motion, and there it is coming back. And I think it's more of where Perez was set up and the way he caught the ball, or where he caught it.
And a good take by Alonso, so a full count. Daniel Migden says thank you. This is great.
He's ready to sprint to the mound.
2 pitch. Just got a piece of it. Healy will be next.
Well, Ryan Healy says, I'm a no-name with a bunch of superstars. That's going to quickly fade, if it hasn't already. I think people realize who Ryan Healy is.
Got him swinging. So Alonso strikes out. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning.
Another slider, 3-2. This one is a change of velocity, probably the biggest key here, as it kind of stayed a little bit towards the middle of the plate.
So here's Healy, who has doubled and homered. His homer a 3-run shot in the 3rd. First pitch tapped up the third base line. Colon has it, throws in time to get Healy side retired. A's scored 3 more runs. We're going to the bottom of the 4th. A's 9, Royals nothing. you by AAA. Get a free A's Stadium blanket with any new AAA membership. Visit a participating AAA branch today. Restrictions apply. 9-0 A's lead. It's the bottom of the 4th inning from Kansas City. There's a beautiful look at Kauffman Stadium. Another nice crowd tonight.
Nice crowd that's disappointed again. They did not expect to come into this series facing the Athletics. And for the A's to try to do and complete what they've done so far, win the first 3 and lead the 4th game 9-0.
Attendance in this series, 31,000 on Monday, 29,000 Tuesday, 30,000 last night. It looks like it's about that so far tonight, and it's right around what the Royals are averaging this year. They're averaging 31,867 per game. Actually, down a little bit. It's down a couple thousand per game from last year. And they drew 2.7 million. That one's belted to center, but room for Jake Smolinski, who has it. So 1 away here in the bottom of the 4th. Migden has allowed just 1 hit, and that was to Dyson leading off the bottom of the 1st. Nine in a row retired since then. A's fans enjoying it. How could you not? First pitch to Merrifield. University of Oregon fans. Interesting. So maybe they're here to see Ryan Healy. Ryan Healy went there, but we're also told, as we're putting it all together, Ray, it's a puzzle. University of Oregon playing University of Nebraska, which is just up the road. They're doing that on Saturday, so it's possible that those gentlemen, who knows, maybe they said, hey, let's do a trip. Let's check out a Royals game. Head up to Omaha, a couple hours. Lincoln, I'm sorry, I mean Lincoln, excuse me.
That's the
3 hours?
That's the alma mater of Alex Gordon? Nebraska, right?
So we're just throwing theories out there why those 4 gentlemen, Oregon fans, are here. Lincoln, Nebraska, not Omaha. Eric Hosmer hit into a 4-6-3 double play. In the first inning.
That might have been the biggest surprise of the night to start with Dyson not running. Hosmer, who usually makes contact, and maybe the little quick pitch by Migden that Dyson didn't get a good enough jump to take off. Almost beat it anyway.
Hosmer in this series is 2 for 12. Good swing that time. Hits it off the facing of the upper deck. Stephen Vogt tried to block it. It was well out in front of home plate.
And the only reason, instead of just throwing his glove up, 2 strikes just in case. Hosmer did not swing, but that's what you do as a catcher. You know the count, know the situation. You know if the ball's in the dirt, hitter swings. It'll be a wild pitch and he can advance, but Stephen Vogt doing his best to block it.
In the air, hit fairly well to left. Davis backs up. Big ballpark, just enough room, and he dropped it. And Hosmer will be at second base.
I bet the lights got him.
So it'll be an E7 on Chris Davis.
See how he ducked right at the last instant, and would only indicate that as he got back under the ball, and maybe at that point just lost it. That's the only explanation, because it looked like he had it. He's approaching the fence, but still plenty of room. And just dropped it, just missed it.
So second error in this series by the Athletics. And that'll bring up Kendrys Morales. Kendrys Morales grounded out in the second inning. Change up, skied towards center. Smolinski waits, he's got it, and the air does no damage. A runner left, and we're headed to the fifth inning. A's 9, Royals nothing.
Health have teamed up to launch the Fitness Sluggers program designed to educate and encourage youth to live healthy and active lifestyles. Participants can compete in the monthly fitness challenges with select winners eligible for an A's game, tickets, and other A's opportunities. Take the Fitness Sluggers pledge. Download the Fitness Sluggers posters by visiting athletics.com/fitness.
A's leading 9-0, top of the fifth inning. Simeon, Olsen, and Smolinski against Peter Moylan. Right field, Burns gets over there and he makes the catch. So one out here in the top of the fifth. Cubs are playing tonight at home against the Brewers, and we bring up the Cubs because they have a chance to be the first team to make it to the postseason. They are winning 2-0 in the third inning over the Brewers. So if they win that game, actually if they win or if the Cardinals were to lose, they would get in. Their magic number is 1. So the Cubs try and become the first of 10 teams that will make the postseason this year in Major League Baseball.
Something about clinching before or by the 15th of September. They would be, if they do it tonight, I mean, that's monumental. But for the Cubs, if they do clinch tonight, they got a long way to wait to the first game of the postseason. That's like 3 weeks, because division winners, the National League, what, Thursday or Friday?
Probably Friday, yeah.
The
wild card
Tuesday
American League is Tuesday. Wild card National League is Wednesday. So yeah, the National League will start on that Friday. Olsen skies it toward right field. Burns back. Now he comes in. And Billy Burns has it. So 2 outs here in the fifth inning. The Cubs trying to go to the postseason in consecutive years for just the 3rd time in their franchise history. They won the World Series in 1907 and 1908. That's the first time they went back-to-back.
But
1908.
and generations of people haven't even. 45 was the last time they went to the World Series. 45.
Right to Merrifield. So a very easy inning for Peter Moreland in the top of the 5th. Bottom of the 5th coming up from Kansas City. A's leading 9-0.
Follow Athletics Baseball Live with the MLB.com at Bat app. Stay up to the moment, any moment. Game day, live game video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball, on your phone, your tablet.
I walked by that fountain today, Ray.
Yeah? Was it blue or?
No, I just looked at it. I was like, hey, that's the fountain. We got a shot of that fountain.
Mike Bird's been out there with that camera, man. He's all over
Monday
Kansas City.
morning he was out there. Salvador Perez to lead it off, and then Gordon and Escobar here. Bottom of the 5th, Daniel Migden. Very good through 4 innings. Well, just 1 hit, got 3 strikeouts, and lots of run support.
The best thing to have the run support, grab it, and then pitch effectively as he has, just given up 1 hit. That was the leadoff batter.
Big games going on in the American League tonight, including the Yankees and the Red Sox opening up a 4-game series in Boston.
And the new DH for the Yankees?
Yeah, Billy Butler is in the lineup. So that's the East. Yankees 4 back. And right now the Yankees are winning 5-1. Tanaka for New York, Rodriguez for the Red Sox.
And that was Eduardo Rodriguez, who had the no-hitter into the 8th inning against the A's.
And as we found out after the game, Billy Butler signed with the Yankees. And for anybody that is asking why, because according to what the Yankees were saying, and say their next 11 games they faced 7 left-handed starting pitchers, and they wanted Butler because they felt that's where he could help them.
Well, it was a Judge who went on the DL with their oblique.
Big right-handed hitter.
So he will take his spot. And it must be bad enough, because if indeed you're put on the disabled list in September, well, they may be needed a spot for Butler.
Yeah.
Maybe they put him on that to maybe he's not going to come back. And even Billy's not eligible for postseason, as they acquired him in the month of September. You have to be on the roster by the end of August to qualify for postseason. I guess, you know, the technicality, I guess if there's an injury, but I think you still have to be on the roster in the organization.
So 3-2 to Salvador Perez. And that game in the 4th inning at Fenway Park as Salvador Perez swings and misses, chased a pitch badly out of the strike zone. And Billy Butler is in the lineup tonight for New York, and this is what he did in the 3rd inning. That's a base hit. So Billy Butler has an RBI single for the Yankees tonight.
I hope they show his close-up of the face. There he is, clean-shaven Billy. No facial hair allowed to be worn by the Yankees, wearing number 36, Billy Butler.
All right, so he's helping out the Yankees. So Yankees 5-1 lead, little ways to go in that one. 4th inning at Fenway Park. Look at him. Tightened it up, huh?
Hardly looks like it, doesn't it?
Well, the Yankees, Ray, tonight they are starting an 11-game road trip. 4 in Boston, 3 against Tampa Bay down in Florida, and then 4 at Toronto.
That's a series. That's a road trip.
Simeon scoops it up. So we'll see how the Yankees do on that long road trip. But at least they're playing teams they're chasing.
Absolutely.
Which is exactly what you want this time of year if you are chasing. The Yankees are 2 back in that wild card. So they're pushing in the wild card as well.
Well, it's nice to see Daniel Mingden, a little extra step in the way he's walking and aggressively going to the mound, and he's pitching great and again taking advantage of the run support. He gets Salvador Perez to swing at a pitch way out of the strike zone. The first strikeout of this and first out of this inning, the 4th strikeout. That was a great pitch.
Big right-hander Chris Young throwing for Kansas City. 1-1 to Escobar, who struck out swinging in the 3rd. 4 strikeouts for Mingden. He has not walked anybody. Royals have had 2 base runners, a hit by Dyson in the 1st and a Hosper on the Chris Davis air. So 2-2 the count.
Okay, Kuiper, our good man John, he's got all kinds of notes. We're talking about the 15th. September 15th on this date, 1971, the A's clinched the division. First championship since 31.
Huh.
The A's beat the White Sox and the Royals lost. John, you're good. Good stuff. That was the first of 5 consecutive championships.
Just fouls, kind of an emergency swing by Escobar. Escobar's been an Iron Man. He has started every single game this year for the Kansas City Royals. Not easy to do.
Well, Ned Yo's pretty much putting out the same lineup every day in this series. And still trying to win, but so far in the first 3, halfway through this game, have not. That could change if they get to the point where they're not.
Valencia is not going to get it. It's over his head. Escobar round second. He's going to try for third, and he will make it with a 2-out triple.
That ball carried great. Probably a lot farther than Valencia thought, going opposite field over his head, and Escobar with a good swing on a pitch outside. 2-2, and Valencia not playing that deep, which probably rightfully should not, but ball to the warning track up against the wall, and he can definitely run. Once it got over Valencia's head, this is 3 on his own. That's how big this park is, that hitters, once they hit a ball like that, they know if they have the speed, they can get to 3.
There's Christian Colon. Colon struck out in the 3rd. These are seeing the Royals without Moustakas, without Kane. Different look. Those 2 guys not in the lineup. Alex Gordon really struggling.
That's a good point, Kai, because you're trying to win. and for the Royals to do what they did the last 2 years, they were healthy.
Yeah.
And you have the health, and good things go for you, like Dale Swain, hitting coach to Ned Yost left, and he said everything went perfectly. You had the back end of the bullpen, 3 strong guys coming in. It's a 6-inning game. Guys were hitting. Everything was working well.
Joey Wendell says, I got it. And he does. So runner stranded at third, and we're on to the 6th inning from Kansas City. 9-0 A's. In-depth Raiders coverage every single night, and the home of the official post-game show of the team. Sunday to Sunday, the home of the authentic Raiders fan is CSN. Well, the Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs, boy, they've been a big rival for many, many years. They just don't like each other, right?
No.
When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and repair expert. So, big tall right-hander Chris Young comes in. Tough year so far for Chris Young, 3-9 with a 6.32 ERA. Now the Royals have made wholesale changes, and we will get those to you as this inning goes. It has become a spring training field. So Chris Young will face Joey Wendell here leading off the 6th. Joey Wendell is 2 for 3. Takes a strike down around the knees. Wendell with a single in the 3rd, a single in the 4th. A single in the 6th as he drops a base hit into center field. 3 for 4 for Joey Wendell.
Well, he continues to do it. And we talked about Ryan Dull in his month of September last year, and people say you can't look at September and saw what Dull has done this year. And I think we're seeing the same thing with Joey Wendell in this month of September. Finally getting an opportunity. As you mentioned last night, a couple years at AAA, and all of a sudden, here he is playing at the big league level, swinging the bat well, stealing bases, hustling, and playing a very solid second base.
First pitch to Valencia, a little slider first strike. There are the changes. That's the new catcher, Tony Cruz. Daniel Navas at first. Raul Mondesi is at short. And then the changes in the outfield. That's Hunter Dozier. He's in right field. And Billy Burns has moved over to left field. So we got them all in for you. So the scorecard now looks like we're in surprise.
That's right.
Isn't that where the Royals are? Surprise. Arizona.
The Texas Rangers.
Share it with the Rangers.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, 0-2 the count to Valencia. Popped up. Cruz may have a play. Near the seats, and he will have a play. So Valencia fouls out to the catcher for out number 1 here in the 6th inning. And that'll bring up Stephen Vogt. Chris Young. Chris Young was really good last year for the Kansas City Royals. Kind of a example of how things have changed this year. He was extremely valuable last year. Young was 11-6 and his ERA was 3.06, and he was terrific for them, to the point that when he became a free agent in the offseason, they re-signed him to a 2-year $11 million contract, which is a pretty nice contract for Chris Young. And he has not had a good year.
Well, we're talking about Soria, and one of the problems, and I mentioned last night talking to Dayton Moore, general managers, they have success, go to the World Series, you win a World Series, and you give these contracts, and then they don't perform, you're kind of stuck with them.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And it's not like the Dodgers, who can acquire a player. If they don't like him, they just pay him off. He's gone.
Popped up toward the seats and into the seats. But you think about last year too, and we were doing a lot of comparing, and I think with the Royals, it's normal to talk about their bullpen because it was such a dominating thing. But you also have to remember, Ray, Ryan Madsen was terrific for them last year. He's not there. Hochevar's hurt. Right. Hochevar was doing a pretty good job. Yeah, they had Greg Holland last year, although Holland was out at the end of the year. But it was such a deep bullpen. I mean, we're not saying that the bullpen's just terrible now. No, it's still a good bullpen. But in 2014 and 2015, their bullpen was, I mean, it was one of the big things in all of baseball. You play the Royals, forget it if it gets late.
They scared you because you were playing 6-inning game, and the A's have had some great closers and great closers around baseball. But I remember the A's either playing with them or against them. It was that a guy named Raleigh Fingers. And then forget about 1 inning. I mean, it's a 6-inning game because he could pitch 3. And then, of course, with Eck closing games, and they had the great setup guys for him. But bullpens, and really a lot of clubs have changed their philosophy based on what the Royals have done the last 2 years in fortifying their bullpens. The Yankees had a similar situation where when they had Betanzas, Miller, and Chapman, it was a 6-inning game for them.
3-2 pitch is hit high and deep to right field. Dozier turning around, and that baby's gone. Stephen Vogt is having a night. Give him 5 RBIs in the ball game. 11-0. The A's lead.
Stephen Vogt, just a tremendous season series against the Royals. A high fastball, and Chris Young does not overpower you up with a fastball. Stephen Vogt knew he got it, and indeed he did. Number 12, and just below the fountains.
So a couple of home runs tonight for the A's. They have hit 6 home runs in this series. The Royals have hit 0. Davis fouls it right at the plate.
He doesn't even know if it's the haircut or the run support that he's pitching so well. But Daniel Mingden's enjoying it.
One and two the count to Chris Davis, who has grounded out, reached on a fielder's choice and scored, and hit a 2-run double. So he has 94 RBIs now in the season. Blocked. Feeling good. Doing it's 11-0.
That's right. He's actually sitting down. He normally standing up. Can't wait to get out.
And now full count. One in the second, 5 in the third, 3 in the fourth, 2 in the sixth. And there's another hit. This one drilled toward left center field. Chris Davis will make the turn and stay at first. So 10 hits now for the A's to go along with their 11 runs.
Well, Chris Young is so strong. He hit the double down the left field line, a similar pitch, an off speed. Got out and pulled it down the left field line, just like he did this into and through the shift. Bob Melvin said when Mark Kotsay came in his office, he said they've added a new pitcher. That Mills had pitched in the first game, and the manager said, well, with Chris Young, he's going to throw a lot of innings anyway, so it really doesn't matter how many are in the bullpen, but that may be the case.
16 hits and 35 at-bats in this ballpark in his career. Yonder Alonso is 0 for 2. He walked and scored in the third. A game of interest in the American League. The Rays leading the Orioles 7-4 in the 5th inning. Rays are making it tough on people.
Yeah.
Snell, the young left-hander, pitching for the Rays against Gallardo. The Orioles just a game back of Boston, and the Orioles are the #1 wild card. They're losing 7-4. A little bit outside that game in the bottom of the 5th inning in Baltimore. So opposite of the Yankees, who are starting an 11-game road trip, the Orioles are starting an 11-game homestand. That one's driven to center. Dyson backpedaling still, and now he makes the catch. Well hit ball by Yonder Alonso.
Take the chance at another park, but not here. This is huge.
So here's Healy, who did this in the 3rd inning. Watch where this ball lands.
Just watch Volquez. He'll tell you how far it's going to go. And if they got a souvenir sitting there. Souvenir from Ryan Healy, who has become a big name in Kansas City.
Healy also doubled and scored in the 2nd inning, so he's 2 for 3. 8 for 15 in the series. Blue Jays will play tonight. They are on the West Coast. 4-game series in Anaheim starting tonight. Jay Happ will take the mound, and he will be looking for his 19th win. Happ is 18-4 for the Jays. Jays are the 2nd wild card team. Astros are off today. The Mariners are off today, and those 2 teams will play in Seattle this weekend. That's a big series. So with so many teams involved in that American League wild card race, almost
all the games played in the American League has at least one team involved, and sometimes two.
And if it continues through the final weekend, that final game, which everybody plays at the same time, is going to be fun.
It'd be great. Especially, well, and you got the teams in the East. That's what's really making it interesting, because there's 4 teams. And they're all in it. Boston, Baltimore, Toronto, New York. And the one team that's not, Tampa Bay, plays everybody tough.
And also, Cat, the fact the A's are going to be playing the Mariners, who are playing so well right now.
That's right.
Final 4 against them. And King Felix is scheduled to pitch the final game of the regular season. And I'm sure that's if necessary.
Little flare to right, and the magic wand continues to work for Ryan Healy as he's 3 for 4.
Well, cracked the bat. Steve Lucinich, the A's equipment manager, had a whole bunch of new boxes of bats. And Ryan Healy was the recipient of one of the boxes, and this one will go in the box as a broken, but he'll take the base hit and continue his great series.
Quick meeting with Chris Young, who has given him 4 hits here in the 6th inning. First pitch to Marcus Semien, fouled straight back.
And the other night found out that one of those lasers went into the visiting radio close to Vince Cotroneo.
Really?
Yeah.
Vinny all right?
John Trinidad, the A's radio producer in San Francisco, had a highlight and heard Vinny screaming.
Our Vinny?
It came close to him, and he was doing play-by-play, and all of a sudden he ducked.
Oh.
And that strange sound, but let's hope it worked out tonight that one did not go in there. Maybe it did. He's showing where it did hit. So.
1-2 now to Semien. Semien doubled in a run in the 2nd, then has struck out and hit a fly ball to right field. Taps this one toward 3rd. Cologne fires across in time. Side retired. Stephen Vogt, home run number 12. This one was a 2-run shot. He's having a big night, and so are the Athletics. Bottom of the 6th coming up. The A's now leading 11-0. In the game, he's going to play left field, so Chris Davis will get the rest of the night off.
Chris Davis, a couple of hits and a couple of RBIs. Migden's first pitch to Burns, in for a strike. Daniel Migden has allowed just 2 hits through 5 innings, 4 strikeouts. Sitting at 67 pitches. Burns in the 3rd inning grounded out to second base. This one's driven toward left center. See if it'll hang up, and it will. Smolinski gets over there. So
see, this guy that we're going to show right now, he hit a similar ball. It's a home run. That's Bo Jackson.
Yes, indeed, man. He was fun. Started with the Royals, then came back from the hip injury to play with the White Sox. All-Star Game MVP in '89. That's when he led off the game against Rick Russell.
Rick Russell,
hit
that's
one
right.
very, very far at Angel
Center
Stadium.
field in Angel Stadium, up on below the rock pile. But he was quite a player, and I think one of the great things that Bo did so many different things at the commercials that he did for the Nike that Bo knows, and I mean he did everything, all the different sports. It's unfortunate that he did get injured. 2-sport player, and football got him. But what a player. Ever play in the Kingdome, caught a ball down the left field line.
Just kept going.
Oh, I mean, just unbelievable. Arm strength, bat strength, speed. He had the complete package.
And unfortunately, well, not unfortunately that he was a Raider, but he was a Raider, but he was a Raider when they were in Los Angeles,
Yeah,
never when they were in Oakland. Close pitch. 2-2 the count to Gerard Dyson. Bo Jackson. And you could just say his first name and you would know who you were talking about.
There was always that fear at the time with him playing that there would be a play at the plate and you're holding the baseball. Because at that time, before last year, you could do anything you wanted to the catcher. Wow. Can you imagine that collision?
So a great documentary on Bo Jackson. He was talking about being recruited to play football, obviously. He's one of the most highly recruited players ever. Wendell charges, and he gets him. And one coach said, well, you know, you may not play as a freshman. And the next guy said, you're going to play a lot as a freshman. And then that's why he went to Auburn.
That's right. How about this? I mean, just so powerful.
Look out, grassy berm.
That's right on the 475. Here we go. This. Remember the one catch that he made and ran up the outfield?
Yeah, he was fun. Another good inning by Daniel Migden. Ray, you want to see it? You want to see it? We got it for you. Look, the great one.
on sale now. Whether you want to renew your membership or join the party, visit athletics.com/2017. You'll find all the benefits that A's memberships have to offer, including early bird incentives, exclusive experiences, half-price parking, a flexible ticket exchange program, and much, much more. You can even lock in your 2017 seating location. Visit athletics.com/2017 and join the party today. Top of the 7th, 11-0 A's lead. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and repair expert. So Brooks Pounders comes in for his 9th appearance. Saw Pounders earlier in this series. He pitched on Monday night.
Yeah, thinking about
one hitter and gave up a double.
Yeah, thinking about that, Kipe, with the September call-ups, there should never ever be a time in which a position player has to pitch.
No.
In the month of September.
I agree.
There's so many extra players, and we're seeing it with the Royals the other night, as you had mentioned, with 4 consecutive pitchers facing batters, 4 batters.
One and one the count to Matt Olson. Well, there has been much more talk this September about changing the September roster rules than any other September that I can remember. See Terrence Gore now in left field. Billy Burns moves to center. Dyson is out. I mean, at least it seems like it to me, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's because there is a collective bargaining agreement being worked on, and that I got to believe something's going to happen with the September rosters, some type of changes. Catcher Tony Cruz gets rid of the mask and he retires Matt Olson.
That's a good point, because you think of so many things that could be discussed. Probably some that will not be, that should be. But one that probably should be is the September, that if you play 5 months, how about increasing the rosters in April? And play the last 5 the way you're supposed to. But
that's interesting. Yeah.
At one time you could have an increased roster. I think at 27 or 28 or something like that for the first month. But having that in the September when guys are tired and you can rest guys. No, I
get the guys being tired in September. I understand that, but I think that's where the changes are going to occur, where maybe you have a bunch of guys to choose from. Maybe you have to pick 25 every night. And, I mean, that may be the best compromise. Yeah. So you can still call people up technically, and they sort of get put in the mix of possibly being available that night.
Yeah,
maybe. But just to have 32, 35, 38 players in your dugout to choose from, it just seems like a lot. Smolinski shoots on the right field, so he has his first hit.
Well, I wish we had a shot of his dad to see if Mom's happy, Dad said, "You're supposed to do that, son." Nice swing by Jake Smolinski going to the opposite field.
So 1-0 the count to Joey Wendell, who's had a big night.
I think his dad was evaluating his every move. Every move that he made. But that was a good swing. I like to see opposite field hitting, and walk, scored a run. Now this base hit.
So that hit the 12th for the A's.
12 tonight so far, 13 last night, 6, and then 17, of course, on Monday night. So good offense for the Athletics.
Three singles, 3 runs scored for Joey Wendell. So he's done his thing from the top of the order.
Who the A's going to face this weekend, Ray? Cole Hamels, Yu Darvish, Kobe Lewis. So left, right, right. If Bob Melvin stays with the Pinder Wendell platoon. So Graveman and Hamels tomorrow. That's a good matchup. Alcantara and Darvish, Detweiler and Lewis. All 3 games we'll have for you right here in CSN California. The Rangers have a magic number of 8, and Joey Wendell has a 4-hit game.
He struck out on 3 pitches, 2 curveballs in the dirt in his first at bat, and since then 4 consecutive singles. Of course, they will make the announcement his first career 4-hit game. That's right, because he's only been up here a couple of weeks. Breaking ball coming in, very quick bat. So first and second.
Interesting, as ball was hit to the right side, the pitcher Brooks Pounders, he took off to cover first, and his spikes tore up a giant divot right on the infield. Look at that. And remember, Ryan Healy had that happen.
That's right.
I think it may have been Monday night. From here, it looked like a large green animal sitting on the middle of the infield.
You know, it looked like when Mr. Pounders was pounding it, it looked like you see some water coming up too. And I don't know if we put an excessive amount of water on this infield, but anything to do to slow it down. But it's not hurt Joey Wendell with 4 hits.
Strike to Valencia. Yeah, every ball's been hit hard. No cheapies for Joey Wendell.
Well, maybe seeing a lot of that little graphic there. That first will be changing to many others because the young man can hit.
Valencia, good rip. Fouls it just above us, down to our right. Valencia has grounded out, walked, reached on an error, and fouled out. So he's 0 for 3, but he's been on base twice, and he has scored a couple of runs. In the dirt, blocked by Cruz. Twins beat the Tigers today 5-1. So those 2 teams split that 4-game series. So if you're the Tigers, you're thinking, ugh.
That's right.
Got to take 3 out of 4 at least from the Twins. So Detroit loses a chance to pick up ground.
Funny you say that. Exactly what the Royals were saying, and
No
we
question.
came in.
It's what every team is saying when you lose to a team that's behind you in the standings. Valencia skies one to center. Burns backs up. Now comes in and he grabs it, gets it in quickly, and that's out number 2. So the Indians lost as well today, but their magic number goes down because of the second place Tigers losing. So the Indians, even with their loss today, their magic number is now 11. Washington Nationals have a magic number of 7. Dodgers is 13, I believe. And the Cubs trying to get in tonight. Cubs and the Brewers are now tied 3-3 in the 4th inning at Wrigley. Probably a pretty good scene there tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Little buzz in the air.
I wonder if there's a billy goat someplace around there.
He's not around tonight.
Yeah. Hasn't been around all year either, for sure.
Stephen Vogt has had a big night. Stephen Vogt, 2 for 3, 2-run double, bases loaded walk, and a 2-run homer. So he has 5 RBIs.
High fastball from Chris Young, and he did not wait long to hit it out. I thought the numbers the guys put up about his success at Kauffman Stadium, tremendous. Those are great numbers.
It's funny. Some guys just, if you asked them why, they probably would not have a great reason. Maybe, background's good. But most of the hitting backgrounds in Major League Baseball are pretty good.
I think with Voter, if you could look at his season against the Royals, and again, a couple of home runs, his first and second came against the Royals in Oakland. That was back in mid-April.
So full count. Smolinski at second, one to let first. They take off with the pitch, and it's foul. Ball rolls up the third base line a little bit.
Then you got a catcher and an umpire. Everybody okay? Let me get back behind the plate, and I'll take one for you because Billy Burns got him earlier.
Go again. The ball's hit in the air towards center. More action for Billy Burns. He waits. And he's got it. Side retired. A's strand a pair. We have reached the 7th inning stretch from Kauffman Stadium. All A's again tonight. 11-0.
Is presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
11-0, bottom of the 7th inning here at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. Daniel Migden has been terrific through 6 innings. Easy to look at the offense and see what they have done, but let's not forget about Migden.
That's a great point.
Rolling along, and that's good to see. That's Daniel Nava, who rips one toward right. Valencia over, and he reaches up. Make that Smolinski, who reaches up, and he makes the catch. So Smolinski has slid over into right field, and he gets immediate action. That was a nice play.
Got a good jump, and what he has done in center field, left field, and now right field. Quality jumps and robbing hits, and that makes it very special. And kind of to your point about Daniel Migden and how well he's pitched, and I think there's something to look at a pitcher, and there are really two things: winning or losing. How do you pitch in both cases? And winning, sometimes when you have a big lead, sometimes that is the hardest way to have success, because you have a tendency to say, well, I'll just throw fastballs. Then all of a sudden it changes dramatically. And remember last year in the ALDS, when the Royals were down by what, 4 runs or something in the 8th inning again.
Yeah, that's right.
And they beat Houston.
That's right. 1-1 the count to Kendrys Morales. Only 79 pitches for Migden, so he's done a nice job with the pitch count.
Speaking of that big lead, I had an opportunity to talk to Rusty Kuntz, who's the first base coach for the Royals.
All right.
And he was the first base coach in 2014 also. Wow, look at that.
Muncy at the wall, and it bangs off the wall, and Kendrys Morales is going to have a double.
Wow.
So Muncy kind of drifted on it, and he got to the wall, and he reached back, and he could not come up with it.
And that's a catchable ball, and really he drifted and then lost sight of where he was. And in hindsight, looking back to Chris Davis, he might have been concerned about the wall, because I don't think the lights affected him. Now Contra is now in center field with Smolinski in right.
Valencia out of the game.
Eric Hosmer hit a similar shot like that in the play-in game, the wild card game, in the 9th inning. Ended up getting a triple out of it. But something about left field here at Kauffman Stadium. Bad for the A's. But Rusty Kuntz was the first base coach, and the Royals were down 4 runs in that 8th inning. And Rusty, who was with the A's in spring training in 1986 and announced his retirement that year, and actually out of spring training. But Lester had not, well, he had success against the Royals, so much so that he hadn't put any runners on base.
That's right. It wasn't his first start with the A's against the Royals, and he was great.
And so Rusty's saying all this talk about him not throwing to first base. So Rusty talked to the video coordinator and said, can you pull up games that Lester pitched against other teams? And all of a sudden he found out he didn't throw to first. And Rusty said that in the 8th inning when they were down 4 runs, he told the guys in the dugout, he says, our backs are against the wall. We got to go for it.
Yeah.
The first guy got on base. He said, go to the cutout. The guys that showed the cutout at first base. Look how the distance.
Well, that's a ridiculously large
right.
lead.
Well, the runner did that, and when Lester did not throw over, he stole second without really any chance of Derek Norris throwing him out. And Rusty said he looked in the dugout, and everyone said, wow. Yeah. And that's when they took off. And they sold all the bases from that point. But look at the cutout. I mean, you get that big of a lead. That's like a 20 feet.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's almost double the size of a regular lead.
And then to see that happen, and really going back to the first inning, when Butler left too soon, he was supposed to get picked off or have a throw come over, and Hosmer was supposed to score, but Butler left too soon. Lester stepped off, chased him down, throw went to the plate, and that's when Soto got hurt on the slide by Hosmer. But really it all boils down to Rusty Kuntz convincing the players to say, you got to go. And I remember talking to Ricky, and I said, if a pitcher lifts his front foot and he's not throwing to first, what are you doing? He said, Ricky, gone. He said, I'm gone. I'm going to be running to second. And really, there's no chance for anybody to throw him out. That's the whole thing. And I hate to bring up bad things, but, the bottom line, there's sometimes you have to give credit where credit's due. In the case of Rusty Kuntz, they say first base coaches don't do much. Well, as Ned Yost said, he's the best first base coach he's ever had and seen.
Well, and conventional wisdom is you're down by 4, you don't run.
You don't run, no.
Which is, hey, if that's your thing, then maybe you should do it, and
exactly.
they did.
Well, and that's what he said. We just, our backs are against the wall. Figure they're going to lose. If they don't do something, they did it, and the rest is history.
So Tony Cruz strikes out, and that's 5 strikeouts for Daniel Migden, trying to work through the 7th inning.
A good strikeout from Daniel Migden, getting another strikeout. Cruz, of course, in for Salvador Perez. As it was announced, the players in straight up.
I think, too, looking back at that game, Ray, in that inning, once you started to see momentum slip away, the Royals were so good at once that ball started rolling, you couldn't stop them. And that's what happened in that inning.
Exactly. And there was even a pitch out with no throw because the guy had such a big jump.
So all of a sudden now things are slipping away a little bit.
And just could not
all because
stop.
Probably the first guy stole off Lester in the 8th inning.
And really it took that to happen for everybody in the dugout of the Royals to believe that what Rusty Kuntz had said was true. And he said I couldn't convince them until that happened, and once that did, then that was it. And we're sitting up here watching it happen and saying, why are they running? Well, the leads they were getting, everybody was running and everybody was stealing. But it was just the Royals' year. That year in 14, they went on to defeat the Angels, and who they got the Tampa Bay or the Blue Jays here, somebody, but and went to the World Series and lost in Game 7.
This is Hunter Dozier. Takes strike 3 called, and Migden strands Morales at second with a couple of strikeouts. So 7 great innings for Daniel Migden. 11-0 A's. And don't all with Sportsnet Central. It's brought to you by Hyundai tonight at 10:30, and it's on our sister station CSN Bay Area. Latest on the Raiders and Las Vegas. Big news coming out of Las Vegas today. Matt Mayoko has a 49ers report and Draymond Green's late night appearance. So interesting show. Fallon Smith, Dave Feldman will host. 11-0, top of the 8th. Daniel Migden, 7 great innings. If we saw handshakes, then he may be done.
So see Bruce Maxwell put in some catching gear on too. 88 pitches for Daniel Migden. That's a great line, especially the 0 and the walk column. Get a big league early, take it to the house, and that could be. This could be a start for Daniel Migden that could set him up for the rest of his career. Let's hope that's the case.
Muncy, his first at bat, he came in the game for Davis. Alonso to follow, and then Healy. Top of the 8th inning. Those other games, the Yankees still leading the Red Sox 5-1 in the 7th inning. Giants series at Fenway, 4 games. So Tanaka doing his thing, shutting down the Red Sox at Fenway. That is not easy to do.
David Ortiz has to be thinking back to the magical 2004 season when the Red Sox were down 3 games to the Yankees. Did not lose again. 3 games to nothing. Won 4 straight, and then 4 straight in the World Series. First championship in 80 some odd years.
A little bit high, 3-2.
And for David Ortiz, his final 2.5 weeks of regular season, and quite a race that he is in the middle of, something that Jeter and Rivera did not have when they retired from the Yankees a couple years ago, 13-14.
3-2 pitch hit right up the middle. They have got a piece of pounders. It's a base hit for Muncy. So hit number 14 for the Athletics.
He worked the count, 3-2 fastball, and I think you're right, Kai. If it didn't, it came close to hitting him because he reacted.
So that's 50 hits now in this series for the Athletics and 40 runs. Yonder Alonso, who's 0 for 3. Broken bat under the glove of Merrifield, then it goes into right field for a base hit. The bat ends up right where the first baseman was playing. So Alonso wanted to join the hit parade, and he does with a single.
A broken bat, a shattered bat, and Steve Vucinich got a shipment of bats in for tonight. The bat really went too far.
Somebody spent a lot of time making that bat rain, just like that.
It's just like right? That. It's
somebody
yeah.
took their time,
put it on the lathe and let it go
together.
Yeah. Get the specifications.
Yep, took care of it.
Yeah. 34.5 inches, yep. Maybe 31 ounces, cupped in. Yeah.
Got it just the way you like it.
Yeah.
Trash can.
Kenlon for the winner.
It's like that. Big night for Ryan Healy, 3 for 4. Single double homer. He had a 3-run shot in the 3rd inning.
Did you say single double homer? That means.
Oh. Triple, he gets the Vince Cotroneo.
Hey, this. If there's ever a park for triples, this is it.
That's true. We need either a drive to right center or maybe a ball down the right field line.
Yeah. Slicing ball, curve around the wall on the right field line. Hey, if Mike Blowers can hit for the cycle, of course, you have the home run tipped over the fence.
He loves it when you say that.
I know that. Guy in center field fell down for the triple.
Fastball just a bit high. I don't recall as one-sided of a series by the A's in a long time.
Well, I'll remind you of one that really didn't turn out that way, but it should have, and that was the Detroit a couple of years ago when they were facing 4 of their top starting pitchers.
Yeah.
They had Scherzer on the ropes the final game when Hunter hit a 3-run walk-off, but they won the first 3. Not one of the starting pitchers went more than 5 innings, but they didn't win all 4 like the A's are trying to do in this series. Hence the reason we're talking about a 4-game sweep, how hard it is.
Yeah, and the A's are working on back-to-back shutouts.
That's right.
So 2-2 to Healy. Marcus Semien waits in the on-deck circle. Sean Manaea got a win yesterday. High pop-up. Nava. They have room? Just enough. So Healy is out.
Sean Manaea 5 innings last night, and as Bob Melvin said, his pitch count was going to be relatively low. Got a double play in the first inning, but ended up throwing 67, and he was going. That was going to be about it. Good play by Chris Davis, slicing ball away from him. Challenged guys inside with a fastball, had good slider working back door and to the back foot. Scored with a good slider there. Sean Manaea returning to the place where he thought he would make his major league debut on this mound, but in a Royals uniform. But he does it with the A's uniform. We talked about the 6-man rotation. How about this? Graveman, Alcantara, Detwiler, Cotton, Manaea, Mingden.
That's it.
That's your 6-man rotation.
Big 6.
Yeah. And they will finish the season in the 6-man rotation. And what Manaea did last night, Mingden tonight. That's nice. Cotton on your left, Contra on your right. As they go back-to-back games. Actually, they did. No, they didn't. There was one in between. At Oakland, Monday to Wednesday for Contra and Cotton.
Muncy, the runner at second, Alonso at first. They both had singles to open up this inning. Hit very high to left. Into the corner is Gore, and that baby's gone. That's a 3-run shot, and it's 14-0. The A's lead. Semien, a towering drive down the left field line.
Two 3-run home runs in this series from Marcus Semien. Another hanging breaking ball. Pull the hands in and go. Single, and Marcus Semien have a season for Marcus.
So 25th home run for Semien. A chance to catch Trevor Story, because Story is not playing anymore. Although so does Corey Seager, the way he's playing. But a good group to be in. So 66 RBIs now for Marcus Semien. Matt Olson hits. He's 0 for 3. Strikeout, walk, fly ball to right. Pop out to the catcher. There is action out in the bullpen for the Royals. Alec Mills. Volquez, young pounders. Olson looking for his first big league hit. Takes a strike, 2-1 the count. $14 runs, 16 hits now for the Athletics. Well, you could say the Raiders have a 2-touchdown lead over the Chiefs.
No, the Red Sox came in. That was a reverse. A couple of those scores, especially the first one, is 16-2. The A's, since that homestand, especially the final 3 against Seattle, the offense has come on strongly.
Pitch is outside, and Olson has his second walk. Really didn't get a pitch to take a rip at. So Ned Yost coming out, probably just about the last thing he wanted to do is to make another pitching change, but he's going to have to.
Ned, I keep my jacket on. The invisible man.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts.
Commemorate the A's 2016 season with your own Oakland Athletics team photo presented by Zevia, the zero-calorie soda. On Sunday, September the 25th, the A's versus Rangers game. 10,000 fans will go home with a 2016 team photo. Perfect souvenir for your home or your office. For information and tickets, head to athletics.com/tickets.
That's a good-looking group, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
See Cliffy and Matty in there?
Ruben, Ryan Davis, Cliffy, Matty,
Ozzie.
Coco,
Ozzie was on
Butler. Collectible.
So Alec Mills comes in for his 3rd appearance. Smolinski goes after the first pitch, fouls it. Smolinski is 1 for 4. He has a single and he has scored a run. Brewers and Cubs still tied 3-3 in the 6th inning. Cubs trying to clinch a division. Rays still leading the Orioles 7-4 in the 8th inning now in Baltimore. Big series in the National League for the wild card, the Giants and the Cardinals. That National League wild card, it doesn't seem like anybody really wants to win it. Cardinals have struggled some. Mets have been playing okay. The Giants have just been awful since the All-Star break. So it's much more simple in the National League. 2 of those 3 teams, Cardinals, Mets, Giants, are going to be in. One of them is going to be out. Dodgers should be able to hold off the Giants. They have a 5-game lead in the West. Smolinski hits it hard, but foul.
They go head-to-head a few times, don't they?
6 yet, yeah. But they're just, the Giants have played so poorly, you just don't know what you're going to get. But that's that National League wild card. And again, the Giants and the Cardinals starting a 4-game series in San Francisco tonight. So it could look different come Monday morning. Just a bit inside. Joey Wendell waiting in the on-deck circle.
Yeah, Rich Hill, who was traded to the Dodgers, had a perfect game for 7 innings.
He's pitching tonight.
He's pitching tonight in Arizona. Yes, he is. He was not too happy when he was taken out either. About 89 pitches. Blister on his middle finger on his pitching hand. It kept him sidelined for quite a while. Maybe Roberts, Dave Roberts, the new manager, first-year manager, probably thinking about that in October, since they've had so many players on the disabled list.
2-2 pitch is driven foul. Yeah, I mean, Rich Hill is so good, but you almost have to hold your breath every time he pitches, because if the blister comes back, who knows?
Yeah.
Another 2-2 to Smolinski. And another foul ball way out in front again. Well, these Royals will stay home and host the White Sox. In fact, they got a makeup game on Monday with the White Sox from an earlier rain out here, so they actually have a 4-game series.
The White Sox are here right now. Probably not at the park, but they are in town.
That's right. Wasn't our bus driver going to pick up the White Sox after he dropped us off? Did you leave a note for Hawk on the bus?
No.
We should leave a note for Hawk here in the booth.
That's right. He's doing road games. He'll be here.
I know what note I'm going to leave Stoney.
And what would that be?
Smolinski strikes out. What a night for Joey Wendell. 4 for 5. Check it out.
Up the middle for that one. Pull the ball into right field on the breaking pitch. And then Big Chris Young. Base hit course, right center. His last one, a bullet to right field, but Pounders took up a pound of dirt. So have a good night. Have your first 5-hit night.
Mills will grab this one. Not going to happen, but he'll settle for a 4-hit game. 3 runs thanks to Marcus Semion's 3-run shot. It's 14-0. The A's lead. Toyota dealers. All A's again tonight. 14-0 they lead the Royals. They banged out 16 hits compared to the Royals 3. Daniel Migden, maybe the best start of his career. In fact, it probably is the best start of his career. 7 shutout innings, and boy, the A's offense just has been on fire. 43 runs. Daniel Migden, 3 hits, 6 strikeouts, didn't walk anybody, got an early double play, and took advantage of having a whole bunch of runs.
Yeah, that first double play might have been something that who knows what could have happened if Dyson gets to second base. If he's on the move, they're not able to turn the double play, but they do. And the rest, the A's scored a bunch of runs, and Bob Melvin and his staff can enjoy this night and this series as J.B. Wendelken takes over in the 8th inning.
Foul ball. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and repair expert. So Wendelken comes in. This is Mondesi. Chad Pinder is now at shortstop. Bruce Maxwell is now the catcher. Mondesi came in a couple of innings ago for Escobar. Off the glove of Wendelken, and it'll be a base hit for Mondesi, the speedy one. So hit number 4 for the Royals.
I can see where Pinder is going over to field what was going to be a ball near second base, but when Wendelken got a glove on it, deflected it, and at that point, no chance for Pinder to get to it and make a play.
So that'll bring up Cologne. On the ground to short. Pinder has it. Out at second. No, the throw is wide, and everybody's safe. Pinder's throw was to the right of Joey Wendell. He tried to reach across his body, catch it, and keep his foot on the bag. Couldn't do it.
You know, the throw by Pinder is the ones he's been making to first base from second, kind of throwing them to the left or to the right in this case, with covering second base on Wendell, but it's going to be a fielder's choice E6. Anyone take a look at?
Well, they're checking to see if Wendell's foot was on the bag, and it may have been. At this point, Melvin is, if
He's going to have it looked at. It
Yeah.
has to be a pretty good look. Let's watch the left foot. And it's tough to tell from that angle if his foot was still on the bag.
See if we get a different angle. They will for sure in New York, as it's just a little bit after 10.
These are 20 out of 29 with their challenges. Billy Burns will be the hitter. The headphones are coming off here. And he's out.
Oh, wow. Oh, increase that percentage.
Take away the air.
That's right.
It's a fielder's choice. So Mondesi is off the bases.
And who would think that a game with a 14-0 lead would have a challenge, but Bob Melvin did it.
You got to do it though. You know?
No, I agree. That's why it's there. And the fact that he did, and the fact that it was overturned, makes it even more special. And Marcotte to Adam Roden, and they said he kept his foot on it, and the replay showed that he did. So no error, fielder's choice, 6-4. Great play by Joey Wendell again.
Billy Burns tonight has grounded out and hit a fly ball to center field, and it's 2-0.
Enough of his foot when the ball was caught. The fact that Wendell went back, he didn't know if he had kept his foot on or not. Was not going to take any chances.
There's a strike. Terrence Gore is the on-deck hitter. So 3-1 the count to Burns. Contra right there in center field, barely has to move. Billy Burns, 3 at-bats tonight. 2 of those at-bats fly balls. So that was something the A's tried to get him to improve on, hit more ground balls than fly balls.
But especially that was a perfect one to do it on 3-1. Dylan Overton, recalled just today, arrived, and looks like he may have the 9th inning.
There's Terrence Gore. Gore, the very speedy outfielder who does not get too many at-bats.
So few that Herb Washington's name came into play as Gore.
Well, he's 0 for 1 with the strikeout. Hits this one to short, side retired. So a hit, nothing else for the Royals, and we're moving to the 9th inning, 14-0 A's.
So the A's lead 14-0, 14-16-1 for the A's, 0-4-1 for the Kansas City Royals. Top of the 9th inning. Most of the crowd is gone. It was another nice crowd tonight, but they have headed for the exits. Can't hardly blame them. It's not been a good showing by the home team tonight, really in the entire series. 32,176 was the gate attendance tonight. One pitch to Arizmendi Alcantara, getting his first at bat. On the plane to Arlington after the ball game. We will obviously be in Arlington for the last time. Gore on the move, and he dives, can't get it. Be careful. Gore made a heck of an effort right along that side wall.
Well, with his speed, he can outrun the baseball, and actually overran the baseball. Went into the dive, and the ball came back towards the middle part of his arm. Great effort, though. Wearing the number 0, but tremendous speed. And game on Tuesday night. Matson with the save. Game in which Gore got on a pinch run and figured he's going to steal, and they had him.
2-2 pitch. Sinker is low. Maybe a changeup. 3-2. But I was saying, so the A's have gone to Arlington in July, August, and September.
That's right. Coolest months of the year. Of course.
And then next year, isn't that our first road game?
Here. I think that. I don't know.
It is.
Is it first?
Where we play 4 home games and then 2 Texas, Kansas City.
Well, that's like. Well, that's right. So
yeah, that's right. It's a 4-game series at home, and then the A's head out on their own. Gore moving to his left on the run, and he makes this catch and bangs up against the outfield wall. Wow, what a play by Terrence Gore.
Contra's going for an inside the park home run.
Well, he may have had it. Sensational play by Terrence Gore. Wow. Check this out.
Well, he almost got the one in foul territory. This one in fair. And the fact that Alcantara hit it from the left side might have helped Gore with the ball slicing back just enough. But what a tremendous play. Sliding on the warning track, banging against the outfield wall. Alcantara, he was running all the way, and he was rounding second, halfway to third, when Gore hit the ground.
One out. Here's Chad Pinder.
So you have one guy with speed catching the ball, one guy with speed hoping that he could keep running.
Pinder at 167. 6 hits in 36 at bats. A's will face the lefty tomorrow night, Cole Hamels. Game 1 of that series against the first place Rangers. Rangers also trying to hang on to the best record in the American League.
And with the American League having home field advantage in the World Series, that's important.
Sure. Doesn't hurt.
The Royals had it last year.
High fastball fouled above us.
You get postseason, those extra games with home field advantage pay off big time. I think you said it best last night with the Rangers, the problems they had in Toronto last year.
Yeah, they don't want to go back there.
They don't want that.
And call the swing on the 3-2 pitch. Pinder gets the strikeout, or is called on the strikeout. So again, here's your matchups. It's a good one tomorrow. Graveman
and Cole Hamels, who's 14-5. We'll have it for you. Coverage starts at 4:30 Saturday. Raul Alcantara against Yu Darvish, and then Detweiler and Colby Lewis. So the Rangers get Colby Lewis back, which is a big deal for them as they head down the stretch.
Colby's got to be ecstatic to face the Athletics, a team that he enjoys pitching against more than anybody. But you're right, getting him back healthy, that could be huge for them. In the 6-man rotation, as we mentioned, so he will be pitching in Arlington. He'll get another Sweet Home Alabama song at the Coliseum as he returns in the middle part of next week.
0-2 to Max Muncy, who singled and scored in the 8th inning. He lays off that hard slider. Brewers have taken a 5-3 lead over the Cubs, top of the 7th. One-two pitch, swing and a miss, and a changeup, and a pretty good changeup. So a couple of strikeouts for Alec Mills, and we're headed to the bottom of the 9th. 14-0. Overton coming in.
On CSN California is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
So 14-0. The A's lead the Royals, trying to finish off the 4-game sweep. Also, Ray trying for their 2nd consecutive shutout.
That's a good point.
Should not forget about that. A's got their 7th shutout of the year last night, trying to get their 8th tonight. So it'll be up to Dylan Overton, just brought up as kind of an insurance policy. And here's at this point, Bob Melvin says, hey, let's get him in there. Why not? So he'll face Whit Merrifield. First pitch is a strike.
Overton winning his major league debut. It was against the Angels. He gave up 3 home runs, but still picked up the win in Anaheim. Angels will be going to Anaheim one more time.
Daniel Nava to follow, and then Kendrys Morales here in the 9th inning. Cued foul. Yankees leading the Red Sox 5-2, 9th inning. Rays leading the Orioles 7-6, 9th inning. Swing and a miss on a changeup. That's Overton's best pitch, and Whit Merrifield is 0 for 4 tonight.
Well, he does have a good one, and that's where he kind of throws crossfire and then pulls the string. Had Right field hitting the ball off the end of the bat for the second strike.
Migden went 7th. Wendelken pitched the 8th, and Overton here in the 9th. Blue Jays and the Angels just getting started. They're in the bottom of the first. No score in Anaheim. Blue Jays have lost 9 out of 12. So they're kind of trying to hang on here. Swing by Nava. He's a switch hitter.
You just don't expect the Blue Jays with their offense. What happened to Donaldson? He went for an MRI for something.
He was back in the lineup today.
Yeah, not surprised.
His, say his hip.
Yeah.
They did say he was back in gear today.
Hard to keep him out, especially this time of the year.
David Ortiz hit a home run in that game. Number 537. So he passes Mickey Mantle, the all-time home run list. The Red Sox trailing by 3 to the Yankees.
David Ortiz did a lot that Mickey Mantle never did. DH. Still, home run's a home run. David Ortiz, especially at his age, continuing to hit the long ball. Maybe the only player in the game that actually retires before their pitchers made it look bad. Because normally the pitchers would tell a hitter when to retire as they start getting them out. But David Ortiz has changed that. Unfortunately, his body's broken down a little bit.
Kendrys Morales takes a strike on the outside corner. He's got a double. Also a ground out and a fly ball to center field. It's been a quiet offensive series for the Royals. They have scored just 7 runs in this series. They have not hit a home run. That one just foul. Cruz is the on-deck hitter. Just fouled down the third baseline. Adam Hamari puts his hands up. Once the hands go up, that's a foul ball.
That's a ball you definitely don't want to hit down the line fair. That's an 0-2 pitch. Kendrys Morales as a DH, of course, then he was keeping his bat in the lineup.
Another 0-2 is reached for, poked into right center field for a hit. So it'll be first and third for the Royals as Daniel Nava heads over to third.
Fastball really off the plate. And this is the result. The ball into right center with Nava reading it and getting to third base with 1 out. And Cincinnati is trying to preserve this shutout, and Orioles trying to prevent the A's from shutting them out. I'm just thinking about this infield. Third, short, second, first, catcher, pitcher. Nashville.
Yeah, for a good part of the season.
That's right. But a lot of success for the guys down there.
Now Overton trying to preserve this shutout. He's going to need to get a couple of big outs. Olsen will come over, but that'll be back amongst the crowd. Cruz came in for Salvador Perez in the 6th inning. Salvador Perez catches a lot, as much as anybody. So getting him out of a game, if you can early. Good move by Ned Yost. Another foul ball. This one down the right field line a little bit further. The Royals about to fall to 74 and 72. Hard to figure. Remember August? The Royals were 20-9 in August, and I said it, you said it. Uh-oh, here come the Royals.
That's right.
And a lot of people were like, you know what? They're going to be a wild card team, and they just could not keep it going into the month of September. This should score a run. Nava back, tags up. Smolinski will fire it in, and the Royals are on the board. A little mock stand-up cheer by their fans as they score a run here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Atta babe. So sacrifice fly by Tony Cruz. So with 2 outs, here's Hunter Dozier. And Dozier rips one toward left field. Muncy's back near the wall. Muncy can't get it. Lands right at his feet. And Morales will go to third. He'll stop there. Hunter Dozier, that is his first major league hit. So congratulations to the young Royals outfielder Hunter Dozier.
Got a big strikeout when his first at bat, and shows why they liked him, and actually got a standing ovation when he struck out. But this one came close to being a home run on his first major league hit, but top spin to Chris Davis, but a nice swing by the big guy. Max Muncy almost got to it, but it's hit so hard as he ran towards the wall, could not come up with it. Fortunately, it was Morales running, otherwise he would have had an RBI.
So that'll bring up Mondesi, who takes the first pitch strike. Mondesi had an infield hit. That was in the 8th inning. He's in the game in Escobar's spot. Line drive, just foul, right field line. Overton hoping to have an easy inning, but that's not going to be the case. He walked Nava, and Nava scored. Pinder charges. Pinder fires high, and everybody's safe, and the run comes in to score. So Pinder, he knew about Mondesi's speed, and he really gunned it over to first, but he threw it high.
When he was out of the box, Pinder did charge it and really made the play. Tried to throw a little bit extra. Maybe just that little extra co-hop.
So it's a base hit.
Base hit.
Couple of infield hits for Mondesi.
Says a lot about the official scoring, appreciating and understanding the speed and difficulty of the play, considering the speed of Mondesi.
Yeah, that's a good guy. I agree. I think. I mean, it was going to be a close play at first if the throw was not wide. So a couple of runs in. And that one's hit in the air, and that's hit well. Muncie's racing back at the wall. Gone. Christian Colon with a 3-run homer, and it's 14-5.
Pretty good pitch to hit, and he did not miss it.
For Christian Colon, that's his first big league home run.
So, yeah.
It's a 3-run shot. So 5 runs have scored here in the 9th inning.
So Dozier, first major league hit, and
there's a line drive base hit by Billy Burns. So Burns gets his first hit tonight. He's 1 for 4. So the third out is becoming elusive for Dylan Overton.
Well, and just a fastball. Too many good fastballs in the middle of the plate. Diving effort by Wendell, and Kurt Young out to buy a little extra time for Chris Smith. Trying to get the third out of the game. Good reception for Dylan Overton, who arrived tonight in time to get dressed and head to the bullpen.
So Gore steps in, Terrence Gore. Grounded out to short. First at bat, and there's pitch on the outside corner, first strike. So that's Christian Colon's first career home run baseball. Some negotiating going on.
The beverage in the right hand is not good, because that's
yeah, he doesn't even know anybody in that group, and he's
that's
getting his 2 cents in there.
That's too much negotiating when you got a beverage in your hand.
Gentleman with the black shirt, black KC hat on, he has the baseball. The guy on the right just came over from 2 sections over just to join in the conversation.
I think Steve Vucinich, as we referenced before, has always said it the best, that when that ball is out there and they try to get as much as they can, simply say it's not authenticated. How do we know?
That's true.
You know, we don't even know if it's the right baseball or not.
You could have pulled it out of your pocket.
That's right.
That one's driven toward center. Alcantara backing up, and he reaches up and he makes the catch, and that's the ball game. So the Royals make a little noise, but not nearly enough, and the A's a 4-game sweep in Kansas City. First 4-game road sweep for the A's since at Cleveland in 2012, and the A's, when it's all said and done, score 43 runs in this series. That is an Oakland record for a 4-game series. They outscore the Royals 43-12. How about that? Time of game, 3 hours and 19 minutes.